Very good afternoon and namaskar to all the viewers. It's a really great honor to be delivering the keynote address for the ESRI UC conference. And since it is because of the COVID, it is virtual. So I'm sure the number of participants are also much more. And we can, though we are not able to see physically each other, but we can always imagine and we can always hear each other's views and take the process forward. Now, GIS is something which is now known to everyone. There's no need to elaborate on the GIS and use of the GIS itself. Now, where this GIS is taking shape and how it is moving and how it is driving economies, that is a point to be discussed and deliberated. We have all seen that during COVID-19 pandemic, how GIS has become a very good decision-making tool for the government at the national level, at the state level, and at local level. Each and every solution or the mapping of whether you call hotspots, hospitals, or any infrastructure, this GIS has become a very handy tool for the governance. Now, as a national mapping agency, how Survey of India is trying to contribute and build the national GIS and take the process forward, and also handling the new challenges which we are encountering now because of the limitation of the moment, then bandwidth requirement, ICT requirements. I'll elaborate one by one. Now, some of the things which I'll be talking, they may be repetition for some of you, but for the sake of our new viewers, I would like to elaborate because being a national mapping agency, we must tell the nation what we are doing and what is the roadmap and where we are going to take this geospatial solution in India. So, one of the primary mandate of Survey of India is to maintain geodetic national framework. Now, this geodetic national framework comprises of XYZ, because we all know that every GIS is location based. So, location means it is horizontal as well as the vertical also. So, we have in XY and in Z also. So, Survey of India had been maintaining our great trigonometrical stations, which we established in 1802, and then we continued with that till 2014. Oh, sorry, 2005. When the new national map policy was promulgated and announced, so we switched over to the WGS84 system, and all these GTS stations were connected or observed for the with this using DGPS for 72 hours. So we created a national framework on WGS84 and calculated the transformation parameters also, so that the legacy data which even Survey of India had, and most of the organizations had, that can be transformed onto the WGS84. Whether you create any, you are a user or you are a data generator, you need a foundation database. So the foundation database was very critical, and this is what was created in 2005. Now we moved from decimeter to centimeters. Then this now new technology which has come, I'm sure most of you would be aware, continuous operating reference stations. Like we have our mobile towers. So the same technology is being now implemented. We have been working very hard to bring this technology and bring this process to India. And I'm glad to inform all of you that we have been very successful, and we have already started rolling out this project in the state of Uttar Pradesh, part of Uttarakhand, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. Though we are facing a lot of challenges due to COVID-19, but still our teams and our partners, they are working very hard to come to find a good solution and establish this network. Now, how this network is going to help us? This network will give us 2 to 3 centimeter accuracy, even if you stand for a minute at a particular location. So imagine that where you had to stand for hours together to get a precise coordinate, and that too after post processing. And the same thing you will get real time within a minute or two. So the observations, the process of observation and computing and finding location is going to change dramatically, and it is going to impact all our development projects, infrastructure projects, or development projects, or highway projects. It has got across all the streams very major impact on the progress and the economy also. Now this we are handling X and Y. But now, what about Z component? Because the location is including vertical location also, Z component. Now, what we have done that we have revised our vertical datum, which was based on 1907 observations. So now it is based on 8 port observation on east and west coast, and we have done extensive high precision leveling taken from the coast to the Himalayas. We have been able to bring out one framework, and now we are densifying the control. Along with this, we are doing the gravity observations also. The gravity observations had not been done very accurately in the past, but now we are doing it, we are revising it, and we have brought our own absolute gravimeter so that we are not dependent on any third party to bring gravity observation to the country. Now, how does it impact our working in the geospatial domain? Now, combined with the high precision leveling and the gravity observations, we are developing geoidal model for the country. Now, since our land mass is very big, 3.2 million square kilometers, so we are doing in phase manner in the states, and we have already completed the geoid model for the state of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, and we are about to complete Kerala also. And our extensive high precision leveling and the gravity observations, because these are field related activities and requires a lot of manpower and resources. But due to COVID, we are having a break. But as soon as the situation becomes, of course, in some states we have already started, like Haryana. So we are going to finish this geoid model for the country in next 2 years. Now, how is it going to impact our geospatial working or the field activities? To find out height of a particular point, we used to run level lines. You must have seen the level which are the highway on highways. People are using it for or infrastructure projects, for water dams, for any canal. You will find that leveling heights are being run. Again, it was very labor intensive job, which takes about you can say one person can do with a team of four people only 4 linear kilometers. Now, with this geoidal model, if you stand with your own GPS, X and Y you will get from the CORS, and the Z component you will get from our geoidal model, accurate to better than 10 centimeters, which is very good accuracy for most of the infrastructure projects. I said 10 centimeter, but we are trying to improve it to better than 5 centimeters. So that was the geodetic framework, because you can name any GIS or any data set, you require a very sound geodetic framework, which we are trying to present to the country so that all users across various sectors, they can use it and get benefit out of it. Now, another thing which is a major challenge is a very high resolution geospatial database. Now, to achieve this, we have been using very high resolution satellite imagery, even 0.5 meter stereo, also 0.8 meter. Then we are using drone based imageries, which is 5 centimeters GSD. Then we are also using LiDAR based LiDAR. That LiDAR means that aircraft borne. UAV based also we have the LiDAR, but mostly for covering a bigger area, we have gone for the aircraft based LiDAR and the optical. Now it gives us both optical image also and the LiDAR image also. Now the question is coming that once we are getting data from various sources, including mobile mapping system also, and many more new technological process will keep on adding along with this. Now, how do we address this challenge of fusing these multiple data sources? So it means we need to have a very robust database design so that any input coming from any source is integrated in our national database. So this we have been dealing for the last 2 years, and we have been working very hard with our partners also. Even the ISRI also, we have been working very hard, and other agencies also, and we have been very successful in designing a very good database schema so that across the platforms, the data is integrated into one robust database. Now, the challenge comes the database schema is required to be done. Then standardization of the process is also required to be done, so that the data which is coming is interoperable and seamless, it can be integrated. Now, to achieve this kind of standards and interoperability and the topological challenges, we have gone for the enterprise-based ICT infrastructure, so that all the processes are like an assembly line, what we see in any, like say the car manufacturing, you have assembly line manufacturing. Similarly, in geospatial also, we have gone for a assembly line kind of activities. At every stage, the checks, the quality control and the checks are enabled, and there is no person who can change if he is not authorized to change. And if he is authorized to accept, he is authorized to only accept. So this is where I thank ESRI also for supporting us and helping us in developing this enterprise production mapping. So right from the data acquisition, the data processing, the quality control, database management, and the map publishing, everything has become automatic, and we are capturing data at the highest resolution, say 2000 scale, and from the 2000 scale data itself, we can go to 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, or 250,000, and the complete country, depending upon the user's requirement. Now, this saying is very simple, but again, we are going to handle very large amount of databases or volume of the data itself. So it means we require a very good network bandwidth. The moment network comes, the cyber security again is a challenge which we need to address, because the data is of prime importance. National security is attached with that. Development projects are attached to it. So the data security, network security, and the infrastructure security, all these aspects are to be handled, which we have been very successfully handled it. In fact, we have gone for a cloud-based computing also. Since it is a COVID, I'll touch upon the capacity building at the end. But even the online digitization using our own internal cloud, we have been able to successful, because like the government has said that the maximum people should work from home. So how do they work from home if we don't provide them sufficient infrastructure? Either we keep giving physically the satellite imageries to everyone, then he brings back the data, or we find a solution taking this COVID-19 as a challenge. So we have again that done very successfully. Our people now, they can access online database from our server, work from home, and again the data is saved back into the system itself. It is not saved on the desktop. So these are the additional database security which we are taking along with this. So what I am trying to say that we have now established a kind of enterprise ICT infrastructure which takes on the data generation, the data management, data archival, and data dissemination also. Because now the data dissemination is again a very important aspect. So we have developed our public portal, which the content we are trying to improve every day by day. We have also got a separate G2G portal. So before I go to G2G portal, let me give a very good news to all our viewers, that in our portal, as on today, if you go and look for a language, suppose you are from Tamil Nadu and you want to see the entire India database in Tamil, please go select your language. The entire country's names will be appearing to you in your own mother tongue. This we have done successfully for the 10 languages, and we are, like in our constitution, there are 22 languages. So we are, some languages, of course, they don't have the script, Devanagari script, but for others, those who got the script, we will be doing it in phased manner. So I am sure by end of this year, we'll be having most of the languages which are there in our constitution, which any user can see our portal in their own mother tongue or in their own regional language. Similarly, for G2G, we have done the government to government. some data which we have made it for public, or some more data, additional data which the government agencies would like to have it. So that data is available to government users and other authorized users also. Now, similarly, we have launched a mobile application, Sahyog. You can call it crowdsourcing or you can call it Sahyog also. So what is this? That every citizen of the country can join this and contribute in national building in terms of the good geospatial database. This Sahyog app we had customized for the COVID-19 also, and some of the state technological centers and SNT councils and NSDI nodes, they have used it, and we have shared back this data with them so that they can use it for their own planning purposes to fight against this COVID-19 pandemic. So this Sahyog app is also now becoming very handy, and like we are doing one project for Haryana. So that Swamitwa project, which I'll talk in detail, but we are offering this to the state government that you can use this Sahyog map mobile app and give it to your sarpanch or the Panchayati Raj officials, those who can collect data using this Sahyog mobile app, and straightway it comes and integrated into GIS. So this is what I said in the beginning, that fusion of various input coming from the various sources. Now, Survey of India has taken up various national level projects, National Hydrology Project, which we are covering 8 lakh square kilometers, which is 1/4 of the country on a very high resolution. Then part of this we are mapping the rivers, 5 rivers in the northern India with accuracy of 50 centimeter digital elevation model. Then Namami Gange, again the same very high resolution database. And the one of the challenging scheme which our Honorable Prime Minister has launched, Swamitwa. Swamitwa is, I am sure most of you would be knowing, we have about 6,62,000 villages in the country, and this Abati area where people live, a village is comprising of the 2 segments. One is the agricultural land, and second where the people live. So these people where they are living, these portions were somehow never mapped. The people were living because they were living and they were occupying these areas, but they didn't have any ownership records with them. So we started with this project in Maharashtra, Haryana, and now this scheme has been expanded to the entire country, pan-India, under the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. This was launched by Honorable Prime Minister, and we are very proud of being associated with this scheme. So you can imagine that 6,62,000 villages, and in each village, if you take 400 to 500 household and 4 to 5 members in a family, so how many people are going to be benefited with this scheme once they have the ownership cards with them? The rest of the India still they don't have the ownership card or the titles, but these villagers, the citizen living in these villages, will be having citizen card with them or title card with them regarding their own property. So you can imagine the advantages it will give to them for even and driving the economy also, because the government will get benefited by taxes, and the people can take loan, sell, buy, purchase land. So you can imagine a number of advantages in that. To expedite our production mapping, we need to adopt latest technologies also. So we have gone in for the machine learning, and we are going in for the all IoT things also, so that we can produce accurate and faster and updated content for the country. Now, skill development is another challenge which in country we are facing. We have been working very closely with the Ministry of Skill Development, and we have already identified the few job roles, to begin with 3, and we have worked out what are the nuisances for that and how this has to be implemented, because geospatial is not a recognized sector as on today. So we are trying our best to get somehow. We have worked very closely with the industry. There were in fact 27 partners from the industry, and they worked with us and along with the Ministry of Skill Development and Science and Technology. We are trying to bring this as a recognized sector, either as a council or a sub-council, that will see depending upon the size of the sector. but we have worked very closely with the AGI, that Association of Geospatial Industry, and the industry partners. And I'm very hopeful that this will come. Once the skills are identified and people are trained, so then definitely the quality of the work also will be very good in the country, and the projects which sometimes keep lingering on because of various issues, they'll pick up a fast pace, and the country's development will be at a much faster speed. So these are the few things which I thought I'll share with all of you, that we are working very closely with the industry, and I'll through this seminar, not only ASRI, but I'll request all the industry partners to come forward with their solutions. We are ready to work with any technology, any solution which enhances our capabilities or which gives boost to our geospatial industry and the processes, whether it is in terms of the technology solution or in terms of network management or ICT. We are talking to all big companies, including, you can name any big company in India, and we are talking to them. But we are looking at even startups also, because like our honorable Prime Minister has said, that vocal for local. So we are going to provide every support to our startups, whether they are in the geospatial domain or data acquisition or data management or data dissemination. In all four verticals, we are ready to support all the startups. And at the end, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to ESRI. They have been a great partner with us in this journey, whatever I have said. Of course, other major geospatial companies also. And through this user conference, I'll thank each one of you and request you to contribute in national building in terms of the geospatial database. Use our Sahyog map, use our own public portal, keep giving us suggestions, vocal for local. We need to make India as an Atmanirbhar country in terms of the geospatial, whether it's a infrastructure, database, or data delivery. So please contribute, and thank you so much.